Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale, up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Welcome to the what's today? Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5. Yeah, I knew that one.
Charlie,
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Easy to remember, easy to forget. 72 hours away from a ranked college football game. That's all that matters. Who cares what day it is?
You're right. I saw them doing they were doing like the scenery over in Ireland on ESPN yesterday. They were doing like, some of the pre-stuff that's going on over there for Iowa State and Kansas State, which is at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Number 17, Kansas State. Number 22, Iowa State to kick off the college football season. Jimmy, how you doing?
Great, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to what's just about to get really, really busy right here. And
yeah,
I'm fired up about it. You guys have got a little trip tomorrow. You'll be in Vegas, and
hopefully, if the airlines cooperate, you know how that goes. Yeah,
it's like saying the football team without injuries. Okay, yeah, you just got to assume that and hope that it doesn't happen.
Well, it's a real. Although it might be minus 380 or whatever it is, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice. There's no question about that. So it's we'll see. We'll see. But if we're there, it'll be myself, Max, and Chris Massero live from the Circa, downtown Las Vegas. And I don't know. I think they'll have us in a ballroom. I sure hope. The cabana was fun, but, it's a little, even in the morning, it could be a little warm. Although they're air conditioned, that's a little bit of trying to take on Godzilla with a water pistol, maybe. Putting air conditioning in Las Vegas.
I've heard that before.
A Las Vegas cabana. But anyway, we're excited. They have events set up, parties. It's a radio row. It's their football contest sort of kickoff week. And
so give me a recap on that, because it's multiple contests. I think people have heard us talk about
this. The Millions is the oldest one, and that's a pick'em contest. 5 teams a week.
College or
all pro.
All pro. Okay.
Yeah. Most of the contest, all the contests are NFL unless they are designated. The Westgate has a $500 entry fee college pick'em contest. I think that's the only one. Golden Nugget used to have a mixed one. But all of the contests at Circa and pretty much everywhere there. NFL's king in Las Vegas, but they do have some of the college. So that's the funny thing. We might be one of the only college market broadcasts, radio stations participating in Radio Row. And then the Millions, which is just it's gone like wildfire. 13+ million last year. The guarantee last year was 10 million. They're thinking they're going to get around 16 million this year. And then they have a third contest. It's a little bit outside of our pay range. The Grandissimo. That's a Survivor contest. That is a $100,000 buy-in.
And they were trying to get 15. The last I heard, they had 10 or 11, but that was
they're going to get. I think they're going to get about 25, 30 is my guess.
Yeah.
I think they're halfway. This is, most people procrastinate and wait to sign up late. A lot of people just do it during their schedule time. If they're going through Las Vegas during the summer, they register while they're there. You have to register in person. and then use a proxy or submit, if you're local, submit your picks locally. You can't submit the picks over state lines. It's not in the Nevada gaming bylaws. So.
Anything for the NGC, you know.
Yeah. So we'll see if Max has a little bit more betting options. He was kind of thrown off because he didn't have as many in Las Vegas. And it's so funny, some of the Las Vegas people talk about it all the time. They don't DraftKings is mobile only. You have to be, for instance, there's MGM Properties. There's Bellagio's, MGM Grand. Help me out, some other was Aria, I believe. Cosmopolitan, maybe. Is that right? The MGM. So you bet MGM app, that flips to Vegas, Nevada, and you're good. You're balanced, and so that's universal. But I don't think the Caesars was set up like that last time I was there, but we'll see. We'll see. But, they've done, you got Circa, and you could do the app, or you could do any of the physical properties there. The Wynn, the Rampart with Colucci, any there you can deposit some money, and then when you leave, you can leave it. So you have at least the convenience of the app being able to bet anywhere where you are. You can be at a restaurant, you could be out at the club, whatever. So it's a little fun. It's kind of their little thing. So we'll see. Bruce Marshall, he might be joining us in person. We'll see about that. But Humans is on his way to Maui Matt, we call him.
He knows basketball's not starting yet, right?
Yes, he does. They're going to the Stanford-Hawaii game, he and Tim Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, so he knows his way around Hawaii pretty good. So they're going to do that. That line is flipped for week 0. Stanford opened up the favorite, and they are now the underdog in that one.
I do like a good Hawaii game in week number 1.
It's not going to be late night, though.
No,
it'll be at night.
Yeah, it's a 6:30
6 or so our time. Yeah.
Never thought, and Max was right, but never thought I would hear somebody say, "I got to get out of Vegas so I can find somewhere to make a bet."
Yeah, and that's why we bring it up, because it's that's exactly it. It's the irony of it all. But a lot of our sports gambling buddies, they look at our menus of the DraftKings and the FanDuel is another one, that they can't. They can't bet Rivers. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't. If there's not a brick and mortar in Nevada, you can't bet the mobile in Nevada. That's so.
Everybody got their checklist going. You're in a survivor pool. You're in a pick'em pool. You're in a pool for LSU Clemson. You got your fantasy football teams squared away. Anything that you're ready for the season, it's like all of these things are all falling into place here next week.
And we started doing it, a local one at a smaller buy-in, and it's fun. It's because it's not intimidating. You don't have to be a sports gambling enthusiast. It can be very recreational, and everybody knows who's favored. Everybody knows who the better team is, and you burn them once. So, and the results have proven that. You've got some winners who there weren't, not the biggest, sports enthusiasts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of open, and everybody, no matter who it is. Charlie, and I bet you can rip off all of yours. You always got a bad beat story.
Sure.
When it knocks you out.
Absolutely.
Raiders, Baltimore. Cincinnati, New England.
Yeah, I'm still living off the scars of last year.
Well, everybody that gets eliminated pretty much has that one, unless they're trying to contrarian and trying to, and that's one of the, when you have such strong participation as this, so people say, it's not just trying to hang around. You're trying to win the contest, and you're going to have to go against the grain at some point to win the contest. That's some people's philosophy.
No, I know a lot of people that play that way. In fairness, the year I finished second, which got me into, I think it was week 14 or 15, I got a touchdown from the Detroit Lions with 8 seconds to go, when they were bad, before they were good, to propel me into the top 10. So you rarely remember those. Strange as that may sound, you remember the bad beats. You don't remember the miracle wins as much. But I remember that one. The Lions scored with about 8-9 seconds to go.
Of course, we don't remember the fortunate victories as much as the bad beats.
We had that one the whole way, right?
I wanted to bring something up, Charlie, today. Did you see the LSU football team picture this year?
I haven't.
Max, you've seen it?
I've seen it.
Does something just jump out at you?
How much support staff there is?
Yes.
There's actually, I believe, more support staff now than
there are more staff. Staff. It's not just support. It's staff.
Yeah.
There's more staff than players.
So for reference point, you've got 80. The SEC is still holding at 85 scholarships, and you've got, I think they're allowed 20 preferred walk-ons. That was the old rule before. Walk-ons are being basically abolished now. So you got about 100, and then once school starts, you can add. They added another 20 camp bodies or so. But when Ogeron left the building, I asked. I said, "How many support staffers do you have in there?" Because they had. Quite a few, and Kelly was basically moving everybody. And back when Ogeron left, the support staff was somewhere around 75 or 80, if I'm remembering correctly. That's including assistant coaches. So now that for that number to be up over 100, you've added a front office. Austin Thomas was there, but not all these other guys.
This is fine, but you need aren't college football programs and athletic departments trying to operate more fiscally responsible?
Yeah, but they have decided that they cannot get along without these front office people to monitor the transfer portal and monitor the money. Kelly said it yesterday. It was I don't have the sound clip queued up, but it was basically they asked him about all the front office people he's added. He goes, "Yeah, this is why I never went to the NFL. I never wanted to deal with this, this part of the game. I wanted to recruit and coach."
You got 100 players you need to manage. You got 100 staffers you need to manage.
Yeah. Do you need it? I don't know, but I don't know how many they need, but I know how many they're going to use. This is everything from trainers, video people, all those people that you've always had. And now there are people, the front office's job is to manage the transfer portal, in and out, who's available. Like let's just use this kid AJ Halsey for an example. The guy that they got late out of Houston. Well, he got in the transfer portal pretty late. Was this a guy we want? Well, somebody's done some work on him. If they're doing their job right, they hear rumors. Okay, this guy might be in the portal. Let's look at some film on him. Let's decide what he's worth. Got a dollar figure. All that takes time. So you don't go spend $200,000 on a guy who can't play. That takes a lot of time and a lot of personnel. I never thought I'd see college like that, but that's the reality now. I remember when they hired the general manager the first time. They were one of the first to do it. Didn't have the staff that he's got now, but they brought Austin Thomas in to be the general manager. I said, general manager, okay, that's kind of a strange title. I think this was 17, maybe 17 or 18, somewhere like that. So, general manager for college football. Okay, what does he do? And well, he's got to manage this transfer portal. Okay, well now that takes a lot more than just one person to do it.
I hear you. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot, dude. Over 100.
They're absolutely.
Damn.
And they're less interested now in building barbershops and bowling alleys in the facility. Remember, that's where all the money used to go. It's like, we got to improve our facility. We got to have the waterfall.
That money's going straight to that pocket.
Money's,
yes. They tried to put half Disney World, half the Four Seasons, as far as you stay. And that was the more valuable thing. Now, no, they're just give me the money. Forget the barbershop. Barbershops in football facilities are closing up left and right.
Give me my money. I'll cut my own hair.
Yes, exactly. Over here at Snow's, we kind of made a little adjustment for our lunch specials. Now we still have the lunch menu that's available all the time, and they have a ton of different items that you have for lunch. But we also have the, whether it's the entrees like the chicken Monterey, the chicken Florentine, charbroiled shrimp, lunch and duo platter, which is a choice. The fried shrimp, catfish, stuffed crab or stuffed shrimp, the different catfish or shrimp plates, crab cakes with the pasta, the chicken Alfredo, sandwiches, po' boys, salads. You can still have all that. But now, instead of 2 options on Tuesday through Friday, we have a whole different lunch special. Their entrees. So we got the hamburger steak supreme, chicken parmesan, the catfish bayou, which is the catfish strips, which topped with the rich crawfish etouffee, or the pepper jack shrimp. A lunch special sandwich, the Barks barbecue bacon cheddar smash burger, and then 2 salads, shrimp green goddess or the bacon cheddar ranch chicken salad. So more options for you for our lunch specials available every day, Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. over at Snow's, who just recently celebrated their 50-year anniversary. So third generation, operation over here in Gonzales, and you know what you're going to get. You're going to get really good service. You can get dependable food. It's consistency. It's a nice place to take your place, but take your person of any palate, because if you can't please somebody on this menu, you just aren't trying. Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Snow's. Remember, the show's available on demand, 104.5 ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. You can get it either place on demand. As we get a little bit closer, I think that I was listening to Terrence Graves yesterday. He's the head coach at Southern. They've got a game this weekend, and he's not ready to name a starting quarterback. They're probably going to play 2. The Saints have not named a starting quarterback. They're the only team left in the NFL. And then DJ Lagway took his first team reps just a couple of days ago for Florida. But I think that pretty much everybody else has been – if you haven't decided on something right now as far as a position battle, and this goes for LSU on the offensive line too, it's probably not going to get sorted out between now and next Saturday for public consumption. If the battle's going down this far, it's probably going to go right up until into game week, and whatever they decide, they're probably not going to share. You think that's fair, that just about everybody's lineup is 99% set a week to the opener?
Yes. What do you think? I was asked this on VSiN yesterday. Who do you think the Saints are going to start?
I think they're going to start Spencer Rattler in the first game, but I think that Tyler Shook will be the quarterback at some point in the first half of the season. I think Rattler's going to get the opener. It's close, and I think they want Shook to be the starter, but I just don't think he's done everything they want him to do from a recognition standpoint.
You don't think it's close?
I do think it's very close. I think it's close.
Well, if it's close, why wouldn't they take the guy that they brought in? They didn't. They inherited Rattler. They didn't choose to take it.
It's a good question, and they may go the other way. I think that they are going to give Shook a little bit more time just to kind of cook, to feel more comfortable. So follow me, if this makes any sense. If they start him in the first game and he goes out there and it's a disaster, man, then they got to put him on the bench, and it's a while before you bring him back. If you let him just cook a little bit more, just practice a little bit more, just get a little bit more comfortable with it, you put Rattler in, you take Rattler out, it's no big deal, okay? I don't think it is. But if you put Shook in there and he throws 3 interceptions in the first half against Arizona, man, yikes. It's a tough way to start. That's just my thoughts. More start, might be just
what's the odds on that, Max, right now? Saints quarterback take first snap.
They've taken that mostly down.
Really?
I haven't found it in about a week at this point.
Rattler was the big favorite till the first preseason game. Then some people started taking Shook because whoever gets to play against the guys that aren't going to play on the second Sunday in September have had more success.
Thank you. Yeah, you're playing against the guys that are going to be, on practice squads or out of the league. It's a lot easier to work. I do think it's significant. And Nick Underhill said this on the morning show a couple days ago. They put Olave and Shaheed out there with Shook in the second game. They didn't do that in the first game with Rattler. And turned out maybe Shook's best throw was it the one to the one to the tight end that he caught, but the one to Olave was a strike. Olave dropped it.
He did.
That would have been a 25-yard gain
and maybe a touchdown drive.
Yeah. So they sent him out there with the best, and if you're grading that film, that's on your number one receiver, not on your rookie quarterback.
Right.
But it doesn't come out.
That's a plus when you're grading them play by play. Absolutely.
One of the former quarterbacks who analyzed the first game, I'm blanking on who it was. In his opinion, he thought that the Saints scripted some of the plays more favorably to Shuck in the second half than Rattler was kind of more vanilla, as if he was like they want him to be the quarterback Shuck, even though he started in the second half. I can't speak to that. I didn't notice that, but
I think they want Shook to be the quarterback. I'm not going to talk necessarily about the scripting of the plays. I do know that also that Rattler's interception was they all universally agree that was on Tipton for not running through the route.
Yeah,
so that's two big plays that if you look at the stats, Shook should have that completion to Olave and potentially a scoring drive out of that. And Rattler shouldn't have that interception.
If you're trying to read or between the lines of the sound bites that the coaches give you, we could all see that Olave should have made that catch. Mm-hmm. So that was a good throw by Shook.
Yeah.
We don't know unless they gave us an explanation on Rattler's interception.
Yeah, and it wasn't Rattler that was really saying it. Tipton was like, my bad.
More too.
He was.
Kellen Moore said they ran that play too many times, and that's kind of what gave him issues there. So Kellen Moore took his own blame for it, not just Tipton.
Well, how'd you answer the question on Visa? No,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. And it might come down to the this last preseason game, but I just don't know. Do you want to let how much seasoning can you gain by just kind of being on the sideline and going through more practices? Okay, you're not rushed in there and maybe not forced it. But no matter when they throw him in there, it's probably going to be a rough go. So if it's game 1, game 5, or game 13, it's probably going to be a rough go. The only thing is there's something about you guys you handpicked to be a part of your roster as opposed to guys you've inherited, and that's
always
they're going to favor the guys that they brought in
always.
And then, it's not like they didn't a fairly high pick on Chuck.
The number 40 in the draft. Let me ask this question: they're both going to play in this game on Saturday. I'm certain. We have 31 other starting quarterbacks named in the NFL. How many of those 31 quarterbacks are going to play at all on
No,
week
you said
3?
that yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
no.
how many
None.
How many other defensive starters, offensive line starters, everywhere else in the NFL? I'm going somewhere with this.
Hold on, but I got to is Cincinnati announced that Burrow's definitely out?
No, I don't know.
Well, you laugh.
I mean,
it was laughable. I mean, they grabbing him, throwing him down by his horse collar. On Monday night.
I think it was they were going to commit to 2 games, and they weren't going to play in the third.
Okay.
But out of 20, no, you're right. Out of 22 starters on every team in the NFL, how many are going to play for teams besides the Saints?
I know. The point is well taken.
And the Saints are going to throw out these 2 quarterbacks, one of whom is going to start against Denver this Saturday. By the way, Denver's a 5-point favorite.
The roster's as if the Saints have been in salary cap hell or something. I mean, what the hell's going on? How did it get here?
And drafted really poorly.
How did it get here?
Drafted really poorly. By the way, the Saints got to play some starters, right? If they're going to put these quarterbacks out there, don't they have to play some linemen? Don't they have to play some receivers? Don't they have to play some? Denver's a 5-point favorite is all I'm saying on Saturday.
I would think so, Charlie. Yeah, I mean, but
Far be it for me to bridge jump on a preseason game,
but
the Saints got to play some guys in the Broncos.
Starting left tackle hurt in the third preseason game. So
well, you could play your backup left tackle and get one of your quarterbacks hurt.
Pick your poison.
Right, so many good options, right? With this roster that you've got,
and they have to have a feel. They can't. So one guy goes in there with limited start. He's got to know by now. I mean, I don't know how much more evaluation you can have, but Kellen Moore's got to have an idea.
I think he's got an idea. I think he knows what he wants. And not necessarily the stats or whatever comes out of this game. It's how do you operate? How are you adjusting? How are you setting protections? How are you reading defenses? All those things. And then the results are just what they are because you're going to be playing the Broncos practice squad on Saturday. I think he knows. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to announce it. It is what it is at this point. But just if you're asking me to vote, I think Rattler starts the opener.
Okay.
That's not necessarily what I would do, but I think that's what they're going to do.
We'll see. We'll see. Both are going to play on Saturday against Denver.
I guess. I mean, he hadn't said anything either. What else are they going to? They're going to throw Jay Kaner out there for 4 quarters. What good's that going to do?
Well, everybody's throwing their Jay Kaner out there Saturday.
If they know who their number one quarterback is, which 31 teams do. If you don't know who your number one quarterback is.
They better know. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, a Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get every time you call 296-0060. Our great team at Legacy Title, Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak. Ken Gonzalez on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Snow's Live at Lunch. We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store. If you're getting ready for tailgating, man, do they have a supply of stuff for pots and grills, griddles, cooking accessories. Jimmy went with a shopping list down.
I got it. I brought it today.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. So yesterday, I finished up the grass, before we get out of town, because I don't have a big yard, so my blower is electric. So maybe the gas blower snobs, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Mine does just fine. But rolling up that long extension cord always, I said, give me one of these that doesn't coil up. I did it yesterday. You got to be unbelievable. I got one of that. I got extension cords. I got the an enamel Dutch oven. I got grill cleaning brush to for the green egg, and the grilling. I got a Max lighter to light my it's a long stick lighter to light the propane or the burner when you're boiling seafood, stuff like that. Got shock treatment for the pool. Got chlorine. I got an adjustable log rack. I've got I just went crazy, Charlie. The green egg, lump charcoal, because I've tried both the store, kind of the grocery store, and the green egg. The green egg is better. It sparkles a lot less. And then, I was doing some cooking at night, so I got a green pepper, an onion, and celery, too, for the Trinity. So, you talk about everything.
Got it.
So,
it's a long shopping list. It's a long shopping list.
It's awesome, man. It's so much fun at the Pierre Part Store.
900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, and on Highway 70 in Pierre Part, the Pierre Part Store, the Thibodaux Store, and online it's thethibodeaustore.com. You missed no class yesterday. You were a little under the weather, but with apologies to our man Jeff G, who
oh, boy.
He sent me a little note on Twitter.
What did he say?
We're not no class. I said, well, okay, and we love Jeff G. But between
Tex Morris, anybody heard from him?
No. But between the claimant of the national championships and this bizarre quarterback thing that they're doing, this play calling thing that they're doing with the quarterbacks, and this guy's calling first down, this guy's calling second down. I had no choice but to do it. But they had it was one show, Max, you might have seen it. They had Tommy Tuberville on. I just saw the clip of it. They congratulated him on winning the 2004 national championship. It's just kind of bizarre that they're claiming these extra titles. So between that and this bonkers play calling scheme that they got going, I couldn't help but do that yesterday.
Is it past Hugh Freeze by? Hugh Freeze, Charlie was going into last year, and you said, "Yeah, I'll take Hugh Freeze over Lane Kiffin."
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen him. He's a proven coach. Now, Kiffin not getting that team to the playoff, that roster last year with that schedule, that's not good.
Right,
that's not good. Okay, but who's won more football games over the years? I don't care if, you could detract, you could take 7 championships or add 7 championships. Auburn or Ole Miss?
Auburn.
Okay, there's way more. It's way easier to win, and Kiffin's outperforming Freeze. And so this year I want to see, and maybe you just have a guy that's no good and he was overrated coming out of high school in Spencer Arnold. But, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, I just saw him consistently run creative offenses that were very productive. That, whether it's Liberty or Ole Miss, I mean, they just didn't have anybody up front. They couldn't stop anybody. But as an offensive mind, now he can't be worse than the quarterback play they had last year. That's the only thing that would give me a little hope. But man, this is what you're doing. This is the creativity that you're employing now.
No, and it's not. And it reminds me a little bit of, when Chip Kelly was ahead of everybody when he was at Oregon, okay? But when you got a little bit further down low and everybody else started doing the same stuff, Kelly's advantage wasn't as
what Hugh Freeze is doing is no
longer catching people by surprise or difficult to adjust to. People have had time to adjust to it.
Yeah, but you were balanced. You ran your quarterback, so you had to identify for him as well, 10 times a game. Your sequencing was really good. All of these things are still important to try and create easier throwing. Kiffin and Freeze, their systems, it's not just the common, both being at Ole Miss in short periods of time. They have a lot of similar principles, and not just tempo. And Kiffin has pulled back on that. The Kelly thing was a lot of tempo. Tempo. And so everybody is kind of caught up with that, and there are rules to try and slow that down as well. But, I mean, what did Hugh Freeze, what do you remember that made him such a good creative offensive mind at Ole Miss?
I would change my answer now, by the way, to Kiffin. And I remember why I answered it the way I did, because in my head – Freeze had won some really big games. He beat Alabama twice. That went a long way with me. Kiffin is 5-15 against top 10 teams in his career. Okay, so I just remembered the big wins from Freeze, and maybe I should have gone a little bit further than that. What do I remember about him being creative? I can't tell you specifics. I'm not a quarterback's coach. All I know is that he seemed to get great production out of his quarterbacks all the time. They seem to be very comfortable running what he asked them to run, whether he simplified it or I never felt like when he was at Ole Miss was operating.
Well, didn't he have a little good bow, bad bow sort of inconsistency at quarterback?
He had good bow, bad bow. And he also had some very good fortune in the game that they beat with Kelly at quarterback, Chad Kelly at quarterback, when they beat Alabama. They got the tip. They won the game.
Yeah,
okay. They caught a couple of breaks too.
No, they recovered like 3 or 4 fumbles,
and then
2 fumbled kickoff returns.
Right, and then the tip drill.
The tip
Treadwell was
yes.
it? I think.
No, it wasn't him. But it was
okay. They got a little bit fortunate there.
No, they caught some breaks, but to still be in position, to go to Alabama during that era to be in position is still, it's impressive. But the rules were different then too.
Yeah.
You can get a jump up paying your players under the table. I mean, and maybe his brand is stained a little bit by what he's going through.
It should be.
It should be. But I don't think he's trying to do anything differently. But Kelly, what do you but he ran him, and he was not a pretty runner, but he was just effective enough to kind of create that. When you have the threat of your quarterback running, and Bo Wallace ran pretty good. Was he super runner? No, he's no Cam Newton. No, nobody is. But but same thing with Kiffin. He's gonna run Matt Corral. Matt Corral was not in.
Yeah.
He's not like, oh yeah, I want him because he's going to win with his legs. But he was going to run it 10 times a game. To Kiffin. I think they did a lot of the same principles, but it was so bad. None of these guys were super pro prospects in the whole bit, the next level. But, man, they didn't have close to Corral, Wallace, or Kelly.
What I don't understand is it still, even with everything that's happened, if you ask me what's Hugh Freeze's biggest asset as a coach, well, to me, it would be his play calling. That's what I think has moved his career the most. All right, I've thought of him as a good recruiter, but I've never thought of him as an overwhelming recruiter. And certainly his motivation and stuff. And I've never gotten into that. I think his strength is as a play caller. Felt the same way about Gus Malzahn. Didn't think that Gus giving up his play calling duties when he did was a good idea, and eventually took it back. If I'm Hugh Freeze and my job's on the line, and your job's always on the line when you're coaching Auburn, I wouldn't give anybody else the opportunity to call plays. I'd be like, I got here calling plays, I'm going to call the plays. If we lose, it's on me. But there's no way I'm dividing the play calling duties up 3 different ways. I mean, it was hard enough to do it 2 ways. LSU took a real risk in 2019 doing it the way they did, and it worked out. It was beautiful. I wouldn't try it again. And I certainly wouldn't split it 3 ways.
Part of a really good play caller is sequencing.
Yes.
And so you're breaking this up
3 ways.
I mean,
I've never heard of
why
that.
the people say, why you run up the? Well, because we got to keep them honest a little bit to set up, some play action and things like that. You can't throw it every time. Guess what? You think your offensive lineman will like that in protection? That's one of the things they talked about on Monday night with Joe Burrow. I mean, he's in shotgun every time. He's throwing so much. I mean, the offensive line, they're not good, but they're at a disadvantage as well. That's on Zach Taylor. But I throw Gus Malzahn and Chip Kelly. He was so tempo, and he didn't back off till game 6 and 7. Half of his defensive line is injured or ineffective or both. But he sure knew how to play Alabama. That's for damn sure. He gave Alabama fits, in his stay at Auburn. The sequencing is disrupted, and you got to have that. And that's not it. I think I put offensive system, and play calling. It kind of interact with each other because that coach, like in Freeze in his prime, could knew what system he wanted, he recruited to that system, molded guys, and then it set up his play calling. So everything was cohesive. I'm answering my own question. He is past his prime when he's doing this.
Yes. And
as a guy who has a play calling background. Yes.
And if you're Jackson Arnold, and I'm sure Jackson Arnold had other options, okay? Not that he's been great at Oklahoma, but he's still a talent. So he picks Auburn. I'm just getting in Jackson Arnold's head. Why do you go to Auburn? Well, because Auburn's quarterbacking hasn't been all that good. I got a chance. This is going to be my job. And Hugh Freeze, who's had a great deal of success calling plays, is going to call plays for me. Well, now I'm at Auburn. We're 10 days to the opener. And not only is Hugh Freeze not calling all the plays, he's only calling some of them. And now I got to split time with 2 guys? Really? I mean, what does that do for his confidence? And I'm not a huge Jackson Arnold guy, but I'm not telling you he doesn't have talent. That was who they cast their lot with Jackson Arnold.
And we know how much of an advantage a quarterback has in his second year with the program as opposed to one. And so the continuity, and this is only sort of making it harder to gain any type of continuity with the staff.
Now watch them go blow Baylor out, and I look stupid.
The only thing with Auburn is they're still Auburn. They're still trying. They're still boosters that care. They still have a budget. They've got a ton of receivers that are highly respected this year. So they still have a competitive roster. I just can't believe that their roster is not competitive. But they're at a point with their program where they can't make it harder to coach. To get the most out of your roster and to coach to X and O. And this is, man, there's so much. There can be so much chaos with communication from the box to the field to too many guys saying too many things on the headsets and calling plays and this and that, and getting your proper personnel on it. If you're not organized there, this just adds layers of complexity to that. It's one of those things that you may point to when they're 5-7 again, or whatever, or just look a little disorganized out there. And just gonna say, man, they're trying to tell us, kind of like Mike Gundy was trying to tell us that I got a roster full of guys. It's time to play football, and they're still trying to, they got the agents ringing my phone off the hook.
It's 4 consecutive losing seasons now. And it's been since 2019.
This is the late 90s. This is the late 90s.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. No.
LSU's 88 to, I'm sorry, 89
I'm sorry,
to
the early mid-90s or whatever it was.
Yeah. They have not won more than 6 games in a season.
Early
6
90s.
Since 2019.
Early 90s is when they went 6 straight, right?
Starting in 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. That's what it's 6. I was in school for a lot of that.
Watch it. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Bluebonnet and Burbank. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you're a partner. Contact our great team of bankers: Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. Can stop by and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak. Ken Gonzalez on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Glad to see that yesterday, even though you were a little under the weather, you made a call over to Austin to get that Manning stuff straight. Tell Grandpa stay in his lane, huh? Arch was like, whoa, hang on a second.
My money's on Grandpa.
My money's on Grandpa, too. But I thought it was funny. Arch was like, well, I don't know where he got that from. Where do you think he got that from?
Cooper gave him a call. Son, just play. Keep the leverage up. I mean,
leverage. There's the word. Leverage.
They know you're staying no matter what. I mean, we're not going anywhere. But they know you're going to get $2 million instead of $20 million next year. Okay, so keep your leverage up there. And so, I mean, everybody likes money, son. So, I'll talk to Pops. Get him straight. But Pops is right. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and there's like, I think a 99% chance, but there's always that one outlier, right? What if they had the perfect season? What if it's just
man? You change, Max. Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. So when Archie said it, he says, "Well, this was obvious."
I agree.
When I told you before, but now you're saying, "Oh no, what if? No,
I didn't say you had to say it publicly.
No,
I just said I agreed with it.
Make up your damn mind.
He's staying.
Okay, well, that's it.
But just in case, I mean.
No. They're not going to play 25 games this year.
They're not going to play 25 games.
Right. Best case scenario. Perfect scenario.
But what if they win the national championship and he wins the Heisman Trophy and a team that he wants to go to has the number 1 pick? Not the Saints, but somebody. Okay?
He's not going.
Okay. But
he's not going. Why?
Well, if he's not going, then he could have said yesterday, well,
haven't we
of course,
seen,
Grandpa's right.
Haven't we seen quarterbacks, and maybe he's a lot better than some of these quarterbacks who have struggled, but you've seen, only having 1 year of starting.
Yeah. No,
I mean, why?
But you used the word leverage. That's what they said. I'm sure that's what they said privately. But it's like, Grandpa, you didn't have to say that in public. We all know that. You didn't have to say that in public.
Yes.
But
they're going to be careful what they tell Archie. It's just like saying, no, don't tell them we're never going to LSU. We're going to visit.
Hour number 2 straight ahead.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we'll return here at Snow's Seafood and Steak. Rab, good afternoon. How are you?
What is Auburn doing? What is Auburn doing? They finished 4th in the 1958 AP and coaches and UPI polls.
My dad was lying the whole time. They didn't really win it. I mean,
They didn't even win. Like these days, you win a national championship without winning your conference. They didn't even win the SEC. LSU was 6-0. They played one more game. They were 6-0-1. They had a very good season, 9-0-1. But it's like that sign at Vaught Hemingway Stadium that says 2003 SEC West champs. You lost to the team that won it. You didn't even make the championship game, and they won the national title. But you're SEC West champs. Okay.
Well, look, and I want to, in complete fairness, LSU's got a banner hanging that aggravates the hell out of me, and it's for the 1991 SEC basketball championship. It was the year that Kentucky was on probation, and they won the conference, but they were on probation, so they were ineligible. And LSU finished tied with Mississippi State, who beat them both times, and LSU hung a banner. And that has always aggravated me. But that's the only one that LSU's got that aggravates.
Ole Miss would say they were co-champs.
They finished third,
anyway.
Scott. They finished third, okay, in my opinion. They finished. I went to the games, okay. They finished third. But they hung a banner. Okay, so fine, whatever. But this is way more egregious than that.
Yeah. I
know
who
won it
real
in 58.
Quick.
I've been told.
It was a
LSU,
side bet.
The NCAA, if you go to NCAA.com and you go to football and it says history, the NCAA has a list of national champions they recognize. Auburn is not one of them for 1958. LSU and Iowa are, though. Right. Iowa was the football writers' national champion that year. And in 1908, LSU and Penn were national champions. LSU does not claim 1908. I've always thought they should. Because the NCAA recognizes it. But that's
you get a different explanation and idea, because I asked this. I said this on the show yesterday. This is 3 administrations ago, but basically what I was told was there wasn't polling. There wasn't a recognized national championship then. This is all retroactively rewarded. And they were like, it really wasn't. They were undefeated, but it wasn't really a recognized national championship at the time. So we think it would be kind of Bush League to go back and claim it now. And I said, okay. I mean, I asked that, like I said, 3 administrations ago. I don't know if their thinking has changed on that. But I accepted that. It's like, okay, it wasn't something that was recognized in 1908, so we're not going to go back and retroactively say, hey, look, we won. Did they throw a parade yesterday for the 2004 national championship? I think USC would have dusted them, really.
Oh, that's your opinion.
That is my opinion.
And I disagree with that. So
you think Auburn would have beat USC?
Oh, I don't know.
I
agree with Charlie. I saw Auburn play 3 times that year against LSU in the SEC championship game and in the Sugar Bowl. They would not have beaten. The USC crushed Oklahoma in the championship game.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, we'll never know.
That's your opinion. But how did they do the game before against UCLA, Scott? A very mediocre UCLA team. One possession game, like 29-26 or whatever it was, and held on for their life. That's why Oklahoma was actually a favorite in the game, because they dusted Colorado in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
They were more impressive in their recency bias in the Orange Bowl that year. But I mean, we're talking about college teams. We see it all the time. I mean, how you show up, how you play that night. But that was a very good team, and dusted. We're way better than UCLA. I promise you that.
They were, and that's a rivalry game. And sometimes those get a little. You play a little bit over your head. But I thought USC was better.
If you ask me, I think USC will win. But to just say no.
I don't. They wouldn't have beaten them as bad as they beat Oklahoma. Okay, I'm with you there. Was that 55 to 17 or something like that? I don't think it necessarily been that bad.
But is Alabama going to beat that Miami team if they'd ever play? No, they had no chance.
Okay.
LSU going to beat Tennessee?
Could Auburn have won?
2001 in Atlanta?
Yes, but
hell no.
But do I think they would have? We all think USC would have won, but maybe they wouldn't have.
This is part of the maddening but yet beautiful thing about college football. Like, how many SEC teams would have beaten Notre Dame in the national championship game like Alabama beat them in 2012? At least three, right?
The one here
LSU, Georgia.
I think the one. I think the one playing here certainly would have. But again, that's my opinion. All right, let's move to the LSU.
Speaking of Notre Dame's claimed their own share of championships that they didn't really have to. So it reminds us of the like Scott said, the bragging rights and this and that. Now we have a playoff, and we actually play it on the field. To get to that playoff, there might be some controversy with the committee and how we get there. But this has been it's our favorite sport, but it's been screwed up for so long. Well, and it's just different shades of being screwed up now.
All right, so. Scott, let's move to LSU. Brian Kelly yesterday talking to the media, and we're closing in on game week here. How do you feel about this group, and specifically, how do you feel about offensive line battles continuing? We're now a week and a half to the opener.
Well, I do. I totally agree with Kelly when he said, he talked about the depth on defense is something that they really haven't had in his first three seasons. They've got depth on the defensive line. They've got great linebacker play. Assuming Wood Weeks is going to be okay, he's been load managed, but assuming he's going to be okay. And then depth in the secondary, depth at wide receiver, challenge depth at running back, and obviously nothing can happen to Garrett Nussmeier. They should put him in a mayonnaise jar on Funko and Wagnall's porch until next Saturday, and just make sure he's okay. But the offensive line, I've been saying this is where the rubber is going to meet the road. This is going to be the test of whether LSU can be a championship contender or not. And there's still, we've said it looks like they got the five starters, figured out. Then come Monday, Carius Kern is the starter at right tackle, and Kelly says yesterday that he and Weston Davis are still battling it out. You still got a battle at left guard. There's three spots look like they're settled, and two are not. And any spot that's unsettled, I guess, gives you pause about LSU going against Clemson. That's got a couple of all ACC preseason all ACC guys on the defensive line. That said, Clemson was not good against the run last year. They were poor, in fact. So we'll see who's better. But I think they're in a good position overall. Until I still want to see how this offensive line performs against another top shelf team in the country before I say that they're going to be a national championship contender. They can, but the potential is there if they can bring that line together.
We've seen LSU change defensive coordinators a lot. Every team, now is, you're moving through coordinators faster than you ever have. Clemson made a big investment in Tom Allen to bring him in from Penn State. Penn State went and stole Jim Knowles away from Ohio State. This is all, hey, we're going to go get another guy. What is your experience with LSU in the very beginning of defenses where they changed coordinators?
Yeah. Tom Allen, well-respected defensive coordinator, but Clemson had some very, unimpressive numbers on defense last year, like a rushing defense, kind of middle of the pack, and total defense and scoring defense. It can take some time. It can take some time to be as good as you want to be. I think Clemson probably will get better over the course of the year, but it's so much about defense is chemistry, right? To me, and effort and believing that you can go out there and kind of go out there, and just kind of with a little abandon, and know that the guy next to you is gonna be helping, have your back, for lack of a better word. And so, I think advantage LSU here with both coordinators returning, as LSU was maybe at a disadvantage last year against USC with Blake Baker coming in a similar situation. And I think we saw it on some of these third down conversions and some of the things that USC was able to do in the passing game that maybe they weren't as good at a lot of games later on in the season when they turned out to be a pretty middling team. So I think advantage LSU in this situation that we always talk about LSU starting cold against a top team like this with Clemson in their first top 10 matchup on the road ever for LSU in a true road game. But for Clemson, this is a disadvantage as well, at least for the time being. And LSU, in this respect, catches them at a good time as well.
My memories of a number of these is that the transition doesn't happen in the first game. Usually that is the first game you play against somebody that is good, not if you got to run a win. It's rough. I remember Bo Pelini's first game, and Bo Pelini was a defensive coordinator on a national championship team in 2007. That first game at Arizona State was rough. I remember that post game. People were shouting zone at me like it was a 4-letter word that had been banned from radio broadcasts. Blake Baker last year, okay, it's something a little bit more recently, was the fourth quarter against USC wasn't too pure. I think Tom Allen has a strong reputation and deserves as a very, very good coach. I think asking him to come out and be lights out in game one of his tenure is a little bit much. I think that advantage goes to LSU. But that advantage doesn't exactly extend to necessarily the one-on-one matchups where up front that Clemson defensive line has got some clear advantages over LSU. So maybe it's a wash. That's why we're watching for this game with so much anticipation.
Agreed.
Was it you or somebody else that used the word bullish in Brian Kelly's description of his own team? It might have been you, might have been somebody else where I read it, but certainly that's been the bravado from SEC media days to yesterday, and I suspect it'll transfer go all the way up to kickoff next week. What do you make of that? Good, bad, indifferent? He certainly feels good about this group, more so than just the average coach speak.
Yeah, I mean, he could be poor-mouthing this or that, and I think he's trying to infuse this team with confidence. I think he's trying to, as we were Nick Saban doing so many times, speak to his team through the media, these pronouncements. I'm sure he's given them a similar talk and talking them up. But yeah, it's been the whole time. The most talented team he's had since he's been at LSU. They got the culture right. He was talking yesterday, about all the newcomers trying to mesh them, the transfers and the freshmen trying to mesh them with the team. As Wilson wrote in his story today, could have most of the defense could be transfers, newcomers, most of the starters. And he's trying to mesh them and talk about how he feels like he's got the team culture right, and that these players have to adapt to that team culture, not the team has to adapt to them if they want to play. So it's I mean, I applaud it. We can't bash coaches for being close to the vest and grumbling, mumbling through a press conference like we saw Bill Belichick do a million times, and then bash them for being confident and saying, maybe outlandish things occasionally, like Death Valley, referring to Clemson Stadium as Death Valley Junior and things like that. That's part of it. And if they lose and they get smoked at Clemson, he's going to reap the whirlwind. But people ask me, so many times, I'm sure they've asked you guys, is he going to get fired this year? I don't think so. I don't think there's any season. I can't see them just having a 2-10 year like Florida State had last year. I don't think there's virtually any reasonable outcome that this team's going to have with the talent they have that he gets fired this year. And it puts them really on the hot seat for next year if they don't make the college football playoff. But I think he knows that, and I think he's like, might as well put your chips in the middle of the table. I've been liking what I've heard from Brian Kelly, and now we got to see that confidence infuse his team, I think, and play with a little more urgency than they probably did against USC last year. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But I think he's trying a little different tack, and I think it's appropriate for this team in this circumstance to this end.
Rab, enjoy your last weekend, and then we're in the soup starting next week. LSU and Clemson. Thanks a bunch, pal.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to it, guys. Thank you.
All right, don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet and LaPlace, and also Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard doing a great job at the Go Automotive team, and it's sort of the selection of trucks is unbelievable at Go Chevrolet. The Colorado, the Silverado, and all different kinds, sizes and packages that you have. Of course, the Tahoes and Suburbans, the Blazers are very, very popular. I got my Chevy Tahoe from Go Chevrolet down in La Plaza. One of the great things is you can use their website if they don't have exactly what you're looking for on the lot. You can kind of build your own with through the website. So go by and see my buddy Lee Carney and his great staff over at Go Chevrolet and ask them how you can do that. So offer also our pre-owned inventory, certified vehicle. You can get a certified pre-owned vehicle. Gives you that peace of mind when you don't know exactly what you're driving that is not new off the showroom floor. Go Chevrolet in La Plaza. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. Again, mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing.
Live at Snow's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Before we get to the golf, week 0, you on anything in this abbreviated college schedule on Saturday?
Yeah, tough to find plays with only 4 games, but I did take a little poke at Kansas State money line against Iowa State. I think this offense is going to be really good for K-State. The quarterback, Johnson, he's going to be, I think, a real dark horse in terms of a Heisman candidate, especially if he has a big game this week. And I think that they're going to let him run a little bit more and use his legs. So I like K-State this year in the Big 12. I know it's pretty wide open, and there's not like really a consensus favorite necessarily, but Kansas State, I trust this team. I think that the defense is slightly improved, but I like them going over there to Dublin and getting a little piece of Iowa State. So I laid a little money line, about probably $1.45, $1.50 in the market.
All right, so K-State in that one. Max, you like K-State as well?
I do. Now that it's gone down, below 3.5, it's at 3. I saw it at 2.5 at one point. I think it's a good matchup for them. Rocco Beck's kind of struggled against Kansas State, even though they've won all their games as of late against them. So I like the matchup for
Wes. The first time that Scheffler this season didn't have the 54-hole lead and won, and he wins going away. And then, is this going to be one of his signature moments? I mean, it's not a major, but damn, that shot on 17 was something. And now we got to the point where we're a plus 150, where we might not be at the Tiger comparisons, the conversations or debates, when it comes to the majors. That scoreboard speaks for itself. But we're getting to that range as far as him versus the field, as far as the odds are concerned.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer to having that minus by his price tag where he's odds on, which is where Tiger, of course, got. Now, he got there in majors. So that just tells you in context of where we were in the game of golf at that point. And, yeah, I was looking through what I had last year for this event, and he was a plus 115 with the starting strokes. Now, keep in mind, he was 10 under par to start the event last year because he was number 1 in the FedEx Cup points. They've changed that format this year. Now it's back to no starting strokes. Everybody starts with even par on their scorecard. So if you win this event, you win the FedEx Cup. So all 30 guys, figuratively speaking, have a chance to win this thing. But maybe not as many with this guy in the field. But yeah, to be plus 150 when the price on the board is Rory at plus 850, who's won this thing 3 times and has always kind of prioritized it, is certainly something to behold.
You like the adjustment to the format?
Yeah, I think it's better than the starting strokes, but it's still not a perfect format because you feel like, well, what if Scottie Scheffler's slightly off this week and he finishes like 3rd? So he doesn't win the FedEx Cup, even though he's going to be probably the runaway PGA Tour Player of the Year. So it's not a perfect format. I didn't really like this as much necessarily because it made it harder to bet, and you had to bet into a variety of different markets to try to get something out of the event. But you still want everybody. You don't want guys in the back end of the field just showing up because, well, I got to show up just to, get the money. Instead, you still want competition where everybody has a chance to win. So I think this is better than what they had, but it's still not ideal.
Would you advise on getting creative, maybe with some without markets or the exactas?
You could do that. I'm sprinkling a couple exactas this week on the guys that I had for the outrights because I don't think you could go all that deep, like downwards at the bottom of the odds board to play some of these bombs. Like I don't think like Andrew Novak or Brian Harmon or Jacob Bridgman is going to necessarily win this thing. So you're getting class players. If you look at who's won the Tour Championship, and obviously you're getting class players when there's only 30 in the field, but other than Scheffler last year and McIlroy, you've seen Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay, Morikawa was the low 72-hole scorer. John Rahm was the low 72-hole scorer a few years ago. Dustin Johnson when he was kind of at his peak. So you're getting class players. So, yeah, if you're having outrights, maybe do a little exacta with Scheffler on top.
All right, let's get to the picks. Who you got this weekend?
Yeah, I'm prepared to get hurt again. I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood one more time at 14-1. And I know I'm saying that so enthusiastically, but look, it's hard to be enthusiastic when the guy has not been able to finish some of these events. But he has a chance to do the funniest thing, as they say on the X nowadays, is to go ahead and not only win his first event, but also win the FedEx Cup to boot. And I think he's got a shot. I thought he rebounded nice last week, considering the gut-wrenching defeat he suffered in Memphis a couple weeks ago. He finished T4. He was only one of three players in the field that's in this week's Tour Championship field that gained strokes across the board. Scheffler and Victor Hovland were the two others. So I think he could go very well this week. He's obviously playing well, just hadn't been able to get it over the line. Maybe this is when we least expect it because I haven't seen really anybody tip him this week. So it's kind of like sometimes that happens when nobody wants you, when everybody was on you a couple weeks ago and nobody wants you. Maybe you go back to the unwanted dog here, and I'm going to do that with Fleetwood. Victor Hovland also 30-1-ish, 28-1-ish right now in the market. Not only won the FedEx Cup here 2 years ago at East Lake, but was also the low 72-hole scorer. 8th here last year, 4th here in 2021, so I think he likes this place. And other than Scheffler, nobody has been better with his irons. Nobody has been better on approach than Victor Hovland this year. So Dick Hovland 30-1, and then I'm going to try the Bayou Bengal down there one more time. Sam Burns, who I had in the without market last week, without Scheffler, McIlroy, and at one point he was tied to get a split with that when McIntyre kind of fell back on Sunday, but just didn't finish off. Made a couple bogeys late as he was trying to go for the win, but Sam Burns is back to being Bermuda Burns here because we got pure Bermuda greens down here in Atlanta, and nobody putts better on Bermuda necessarily than Sam Burns. He was good scrambling last week. He was even good on the bent grass last week up in Baltimore. So if he can just be a little bit better with his irons, he can hit it a mile long, and he can make putts and scramble, chip in, save par. Just got to hit those irons better, but I think he can this week. And also, he's on the periphery of maybe getting one of those last spots on the Ryder Cup team, so a really good showing in a big-time event this week would certainly help his cause.
You think he's making a late run, Max?
He is. I mean, the last 2 or 3 open spots right now on the Ryder Cup team are very fascinating. I kind of wanted to ask Wes, one of the big talking points right now, the team is picked next week, right before the show. So this will be your last chance to kind of pick what you think about this team, Wes. But do you think Bradley's going to pick himself to be a playing captain? It would be the first time since Arnold Palmer way back when. And then secondly, could you see one of these bigger names like a Colin Morikawa, whose short game has been really bad as of late, or even a Patrick Cantlay, who's had a lot of success in the Ryder Cup but hasn't really played well as of late? Do you see any of those big names being snubbed from this team, and then do you think Keegan Bradley will pick himself?
Yeah, Max, I'll go with the latter first. I think he should pick himself, but I'm not convinced he's going to necessarily. I know Rory McIlroy had some remarks because he got approached, I guess, for the next one in Ireland. He's like, well, I'm still a player, and I'm probably going to make the team. And it's like, I don't think you can do it. The last guy that did it was Arnold Palmer back, I can't remember the year, but it was in the 1960s. So I don't know if Bradley's going to pick himself necessarily. in terms of those big names you mentioned, I think Cantlay's on the team, even though he's been a little bit up and down. Just hasn't been able to put it all together. Like, the ball striking actually been good this year, but the putter has been terrible. Whereas last week the putter was great and the ball striking was terrible. Morikawa is the one I'd cast a little doubt on. Like, if I was picking this team, I, be a little gun shy of picking him. I think he's probably going to make it because of the pedigree. But some of those guys at the back end, Burns, Cameron Young, a couple of those other guys, I think, making some late runs to try and make this team. Chris Goddard up another one. So we'll see what Keegan Bradley elects to do. I don't ultimately think he's going to pick himself, though.
Wes, it's official. They named a starter up in Indianapolis. Your thoughts?
Yeah, but, when they first signed him, I thought, okay, he's going to be the starter because AR, Anthony Richardson, was hurt. But then, I felt they wanted Richardson to win the job because they spent a number 4 overall pick on him. But I don't think I'm necessarily surprised in the fact that Anthony Richardson said he was surprised shows kind of the lack of awareness and maybe why he's not the starter for this team. I think these guys are under pressure with the new owner, with Carly Ursay-Gordon now calling the shots. Everybody's on notice, I think, that, maybe some jobs are going to be on the line, even though she hasn't really been vocal publicly about that. But Shane Steichen got the clearance to name a starter, and he went with maybe what is, quote-unquote, the safe pick in Daniel Jones, and basically crapped on Chris Ballard's high-profile draft choice in his 9-year tenure in Indianapolis with Richardson. So I think Richardson, they say the right things, like, oh, he's still got a chance to develop and all that. His future's done in Indianapolis. If Anthony Richardson is going to start somewhere in this league, it's going to be for another team. So I don't see it. I think they've already given up on this young man twice. And the fact that he's younger, actually, than some of the rookie quarterback crop in this year's draft, I mean, they really have given up on him. And they're going with Daniel Jones. We'll see where they go. 7.5 is probably right. I don't really have a good read either way. I know people are coming in on the under, but they've got some weapons on offense. So I wish I could tell you what to make of the Colts. I think they're one of the toughest teams to handicap this season.
Follow Wes on Twitter at WesReynolds1X/Twitter. Wes, great stuff as always. We got a full week and a full schedule of college football and their opening 5-day weekend next weekend. So we're looking forward to your picks for that as we transition from golf to college football, college and professional football. Thank you, Wes. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Don't forget that all of our picks are consensus golf picks, and what a seasons we've had this past year. Again, this is the final edition of that, and it's brought to you all season long by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. So my dad passing just recently, and when he was getting up in age, every little step of the way, we needed a power of attorney. Go to Dana Brown, took care of it. We needed a will. Who's going to be the executor, and all that type of stuff. Dana Brown. A notarized affidavit of domicile for my dad, and succession with his property and things like this. And every little step of the way, I'll go downtown and see my man, Dana Brown, 343-1111. Both Charlie and I have used Dana's team of specialized attorneys for different reasons at different stages of our lives, like this one that I'm going through right now. We strongly recommend, like we've done to so many of our friends, to call 343-1111 or pull them up on web online at ocbrown.com.
Live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
So you heard Wes talk about it, and all of our contributors, I'm sure, Max, you'll like this as well, split up a little bit with and without. The Scheffler thing, and it's so all of our contributors, whether it's half, whether it's a third and 2/3 in either direction. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So, Max, who are we looking at today or this weekend?
I'm a little demoralized, honestly, from keeping on losing to Scotty Scheffler. So I'm going to avoid Scheffler at all costs this week. I think he's probably going to win. I think he's a deserving Tour champion this year. So
I'd say.
one of the ways you can go about it is the exacta. Straight forecast, it'll be called in a lot of markets. Not all sports books have them, but some of them here in Louisiana do. And so I'm gonna have Scheffler winning this tournament, but I'm gonna have the runner-up. Now, the one thing about straight forecast is if there's a tie for second, you're gonna get a split, right? You're not gonna get a full payout. But I think Tommy Fleetwood, Wes is picking him. I don't trust him to win, but he can finish second. I mean, he's good at doing that. He's good at finishing runner-up, and he's playing really good golf. I mean, he's top 3 or 5 player in the world right now. Back-to-back top 4 finishes here in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He's played pretty well here in the past at the Tour Championship. Decent Bermuda player. So, yeah, Tommy Fleetwood. Why can't he come runner-up to Scotty Scheffler? And you're getting 28-1 odds on that at BetRivers, actually. So Scheffler, Fleetwood, 1-2 is my first pick. Scheffler and Russell Henley coming second place is my other pick at 40-1. Henley is somebody who is from Georgia, so he's got the local ties to this event at Eastlake, and has played very well here in the past, an accuracy player. Accuracy is important. The rough has grown up this week. It's about up an inch. They've made some changes to the golf course. There are going to be some harder pin locations. So I think hitting fairways is going to be absolute paramount this week. 6 straight top 20 finishes. Had the win back at the Arnold Palmer Invitational way back when. But again, we're not asking him to win. We're asking him to come in second to Russell Henley. Hits a lot of fairways. Hits enough greens, good Bermuda putter, so I'll take Russell Henley second place to Scotty Scheffler at 40-1. And then you heard Wes earlier, Sam Burns. He likes him. Bermuda Burns, another great putter on Bermuda. Always played well kind of leading into his wins. He's got 5 wins on the PGA Tour. He's always kind of trending in that direction. Sometimes you'll have players who will just pop off randomly and win a golf tournament. That's not really the way Burns goes about it. Had a top 5 finish last week. Was kind of in the conversation for a very short time on Sunday last week. So Scheffler won, Burns second place, 50-1 straight forecast. So those are 3 straight forecasts. They don't give you all the options, every single player to finish second to Scotty Scheffler. So one guy I'm going to bet in the week.
You can't wheel him like in the horse races?
Not
We're talking
quite.
about him in horse race terms? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Unfortunately. No, you're good.
Couldn't resist.
I wish I could do a Scheffler Justin Rose straight forecast, but instead I'm going to go without Scotty Scheffler. He's 35-1. Rose just won a couple weeks ago in the playoff. He's been playing outstanding. He's got the Ryder Cup on his mind, traditionally a great Ryder Cup player. He's trying to trend for that. I think he cares about that more than the FedEx Cup, honestly. But he's also got a tremendous track record. Won the FedEx Cup. If you remember back when Tiger Woods won here, his kind of first resurgence back to the PGA Tour. He won the Tour Championship, but didn't actually win the FedEx Cup because it was a different format. You could win this tournament and not actually win the entire thing. He won the FedEx Cup that year, despite the fact that he did not win the Tour Championship that week. So confusing, but he's played very well here at Eastlake in the past, and he's coming in with really good form. So Justin Rose, without Scotty Scheffler, is 35-1. And if you want something a little bit simpler, Scotty Scheffler can make it really complicated. I'm just going to do a top 10 finish, including ties, for Jacob Bridgman, plus 330. He's in the back of the field, pretty irrelevant. You don't really think about him. He's not going to win this week, but top 10, including ties, I think is fair at plus 330 for Bridgman. A tremendous Bermuda Greens putter, and just finding enough form with his iron play. I think Jacob Bridgman can not be in the mix, but top 10, sure, plus 330.
All right, so Jeff also has Henley, Aubert, Hovland, and Griffin. So Hovland with Wes, that is a common pick this week. And then Henley is another common pick, Max, that you're talking about, your straight exacta with Sheffield keyed with Fleetwood, Henley, and Burns. So, in horse racing, you kind of you really don't want to wheel the favorite on top. It's much more it's much more risk reward smart to wheel him under. But this Scheffler's a little bit different than a 2-minute horse race. This is a 72-hole.
I like the second favorite as much as the next guy, but
what would a Fleetwood Scheffler? I'm just saying, just a little more so.
Yeah.
A little. What's a Henley Scheffler? What's a Burns Scheffler? What do those pay? if you can somehow, beat the chalk.
I'll give you Fleetwood over Scheffler is 28-1. So still not that great for a guy somehow beating Scotty Scheffler, outlasting Scotty for his first win on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. So so we wrapping up with the golf this year. It's been another fun. It's one of those things that keeps us bridges instead of looking at the calendar when football starts. I mean, this golf's got to figure it out. Now, get out the way. I know the little Ryder Cup's, it's going to interest the golf purists, but get out the way for football season, just in time. The only reason I miss the European Ryder Cup, because I can watch more. It's in the morning before the football starts,
I tell you what, morning. We'll see. We might have some betting options. I know it'll be in football season, but the U.S. is just a slight favorite in a home Ryder Cup where Ryder Cups are always favored massively to the home team. But Europe's got a lot of good vibes right now. Will Keegan Bradley pick himself? The back end of the Ryder Cup team for the U.S. not so good. Scheffler's great, but you need some of those other guys to step it up here coming into September.
Workbox services for all of your movable storage needs, both commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in all different sizes. Most companies come with just one standard size, not with Workbox. 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, even 8x40 feet for the smallest of jobs to, with the biggest of storage needs on site. You want a tool storage container for a job site, custom lunchroom, work site for welders and plumbers, custom safety storage near the plant, customized part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, wooden material. We will customize it for you, any need or any preference that you have. So we also have the home boxes for residential moving storage as well, so you can do it at your own pace instead of trying to rush it all through a moving truck. So our good friends over at Workbox are expanding and bigger and better with a second office that reaches all the way down to the Gulf Coast, through New Orleans, through Baton Rouge, Lafayette, all the way to Lake Charles. Of course, Martine Sr., now joined by his son, Martine Jr., Hannah, Brandy, Chris Brooks. So all of our friends over at the Workbox. Bigger and better than ever. Workbox and WorkboxLLC.com, 343-4886, 343-4886.
Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak. Ken Gonzalez on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Snow's live at lunch. So give you a little bit of a rundown of our programming here coming up. Tomorrow, Jimmy and Max will be in Las Vegas, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Friday, we'll start with our first Football Friday. We'll start at 10 o'clock. We will be at Rufino's. Richard Dixon and myself. Richard will be back with us again this year in 10 o'clock hour. He and I will do a pretty extensive LSU football deep dive on Friday from 10 to 11, and we'll turn it over to the guys in Vegas at 11 o'clock for the rest of the show. Monday, we will get on our football schedule, which means the show will start at 10 a.m. on Mondays. It'll include the Brian Kelly press conference in the middle and go to its regular 1 o'clock time. So that starts on Monday as well. So we'll be a little bit separated here for the next couple of days, but we're officially starting on Friday into our football schedule with 3-hour shows on both Friday and Monday.
Yeah, and we don't start football Sunday for a few weeks. So
yeah, not until the first regular season game, right?
For NFL.
Yeah.
We're not doing one on Labor Day weekend.
No NFL stuff that day.
Yeah. So no NFL stuff. But we have done them in the past. So it's kind of roast, but this year, which is going to be the first NFL Sunday, will be ours. Now we are working Labor Day. I think the entire
everybody is,
right?
Everybody is. Well, wouldn't you be able to go ahead in time just to hear a little bit of what that Monday sounds like? Because you want to talk about a wide range based on how LSU does against Clemson. Would you say there's been more pointing toward this game than the other openers? I know it feels that way every year.
No.
Maybe no, same.
No.
from the fans, certainly from the
No,
coach.
I heard the fans they were giving Brian Kelly all they wanted him out. They were leaving the Las Vegas thing, and that's not happening. But Charlie. I think that whoever loses this game, you have more room for error now in college football as of last year than ever. And so this team, I think whoever loses this game is going to be in the playoff.
I do too. And I especially think that if Clemson were to lose this game, given what's left on their schedule, I do know that if LSU loses this game, the pressure for the Florida game, the home SEC opener, which is going to be off the charts
if
anyway.
LSU loses to Florida at home, with this roster.
And with DJ Lagway basically having missed the entire camp. I know he's going to play, but
he could use some reps throwing the ball. There's no doubt. No doubt. That's fair. Yeah.
So it's a tough thing to forecast how he's going to play right now. With he's got 2 games to play before then, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
We were talking about. I was like, come on, let's. I think USC would win that game in 2004, but it's no given. And there have been bigger upsets before. I could tell you this: that line would have been under a touchdown.
USC favorite.
USC schedule. USC before they played in the national championship game played 2 ranked teams.
Notre Dame was not ranked.
Number 7 Cal, number 15 Arizona State. 2, 7 and 15 Cal and Arizona State.
And they played a Virginia Tech team that was not one of Beamer's
better
unranked teams, right? Yeah, that was in but after Michael Vick, but before Tyrod Taylor. It wasn't one of their better years. They played that game in Washington, didn't they?
Landover, where the Redskins play. Yeah, Landover.
We'll never know, but Auburn will celebrate regardless.
Well, it's just Auburn, LSU was top 5 when they played them. Georgia and Tennessee were both top 10, and Alabama was unranked, but they had to beat them in Crimson. I mean, it's just they had a tougher schedule than the other. I mean, SEC wasn't as prominent as it was, but you went on go undefeated in the SEC, and you have no shot. Nah, you got a shot.
I wouldn't say no shot. I think USC would have won the game, but
me too.
But it's not like it was a talentless Auburn team. I mean, they had 2 top 5 running backs in the NFL draft on that team.
First round drafted quarterback,
Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams. Jason Campbell went in the first round that year. No, they were good.
The shakiest game was LSU for sure. Campbell had not gotten rolling yet,
right? And they hit. I think it was Courtney Taylor on that skinny post for the only touchdown.
The 4th and 18, or 4th and 16, whatever it was, when he scrambled to the right.
Yeah, and then they got Ronnie Prude for the leverage penalty, which was called one other time. Otherwise, that game's going to overtime. If that game goes to overtime, you think LSU wins? I mean, kind of a coin flip. It was.
Who knows?
I don't think either team dominated that game.
No.
I mean, it was.
No, LSU.
It wasn't a deceiving score. It was really that close.
LSU was still trying to figure out if to play Randall or Jamarcus. They played both.
Yeah,
and LSU didn't even know if they were going to play with the hurricane.
Was that a hurricane year?
Oh, it was a very late decision.
Okay.
A very late decision, because it kind of went through Auburn.
I had forgotten about that part.
We jumped on somebody's jet last minute, but we were sitting around like Friday afternoon wondering if they're going to play.
It's good to have friends with jets, huh?
It is.
Enjoy your trip. You guys down out there.
Taking Big Jumbo, the big live at lunch.
Thanks to the folks here at Snow's for being our host today. Tomorrow the show will originate from Las Vegas, and Friday we're at Rufino's. For Jordan back in the studio, from Max, for Jimmy, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.